everyone, welcome back to the Armed Citizens Evolution channel. I'm Davis, and on this channel we talk about being responsible armed citizens, being proficient shooters, guns, and other topics. Today's topic is going to be on the SIG Spear LT. Is it great or good enough? And like I usually do, I'm going to roll my little intro, and I'll be right back with you guys. Alright guys, so now getting into it. The 4 topics I'm going to try to cover on today is accuracy, recoil impulse, what parts are compatible or interchangeable with the SIG Virtus, and the pros to this gun. I talked a lot about the cons in the last video, so I'm going to do a lot of the pros on this video. Now getting right into it, accuracy. So I was able to get a grouping, and I have it here, so I'm going to show it to you guys in a little bit. But I want to let you guys know that this was performed benched. I put it back down. I set up as best as I could. My eyesight's not that great. I do have astigmatism, and I'm left eye dominant. So bear in mind that that's me as a shooter. I tried my best. I did put the Lanzac ECT1 trigger in there just to help me a little bit. So with that being said, guys, and I'm going to post a picture somewhere up here on the video actual grouping, but I have them in front of me just for my notes. So I did have PMC green tip, and that was a 2.55 inch group. Now in the middle I have PMC bronze, and that was a 1.59 inch group. And the last one was PMC soft tip, and that was a 1.12 inch group. Now again, I have pretty bad eyesight. Well, I want to say bad. I'm not going to say I have bad eyesight. I have pretty bad astigmatism. And I'm going to show you guys a video, representation of what it actually looks like to me. When I'm looking, that's what I see as a red dot. That's literally my red dot on pretty much everything I shoot. The only one that I've ever been able to see crystal clear was the Aimpoint Acro Pt.2. That's the only one where it's just a legit red dot. I'm not sure what trickery or what they got going on there, but that's all I see. Now whenever I throw a magnifier on certain optics, I will see a perfect dot. So it might just be the emitter, it might be my astigmatism, whatever the case is, that's usually what I see. And depends on what it is. It might be bigger or smaller, blurrier, whatever the case is, right? But as you guys can see, at 100 yards, this is what I was able to group. Like I said, I'm going to put a bigger picture somewhere here. You guys can actually see it better. But at 100 yards, that is extremely acceptable out of an 11.5 inch. I couldn't ask for better performance with me as a shooter behind it. Now, could someone with a scope, with better ammo, get tighter groupings, maybe sub MOA? Definitely. That's not me. That's not what I was out there to try to accomplish. That's not what this gun is built for, in my opinion. It's an 11.5. It's for close to intermediate ranges. If I wanted something that's going to just be able to punch out at 500 yards, I get a 16-inch version of it. Now, that is more than acceptable for me. Again, accuracy, it's great. I definitely would say that's great, even with that PMC bronze. The green tip, green tip usually is not known for being extremely accurate, so I'll take what I can take with that ammo. Now guys, moving on to the recoil impulse. Someone had asked me about this, and I just want to give a better detailed explanation on the recoil impulse. It's a very soft shooting gun, but it's not to say that it's better than a DI gun. I would say it's more of the recoil is up here, obviously because it's piston driven. So I feel more of the muzzle trying to kick up versus where a DI, I have everything back here, so it's more into me. Hopefully I'm explaining that correctly. I'm not fighting it per se, but it does have most of the weight up front, so it's trying to come up. And like I said, it's still a very soft shooting gun. It's still a phenomenal gun. Now I did managed to capture a little bit of video with it's on the suppress setting, and unsuppressed setting. So I'm going to roll that footage in a little bit. But again, guys, it's a phenomenal gun. I don't run comps on most of my guns just because I don't expect to be fighting a ton of recoil. I do run comps on my 9mm guns just because it's a harder system to perform, a harder system to manage. So that's the only reason I run comps on my handguns. But on rifles, I don't ever run comps. It's not my thing. I'm not bashing anybody that does. It's personal preference. I just don't want to deal with the comp, especially indoors, all that concussion. There's too many cons to it for me to want to put it on my firearm. Now, if you put it on yours, go for it, enjoy it, have fun with it. But again, recoil impulse, it's great. It's definitely a little softer, but I want to say better than a DI system. Because I do have to fight the recoil up here versus fighting the recoil back here, if that makes sense. All right, now moving on, guys, to the parts interchangeability between the Virtus and the Spear LT. Now, if you guys can see back there, I have both. I have the Virtus and the Spear LT. So I didn't capture a lot of footage, but I can guarantee you that the things that do work are the barrel swaps and the handguard swaps, with a caveat. With the Spear LT, you can put it on the Virtus. The only downside to the Virtus is that you're gonna have those two holes on the side, and it's not, you can screw it down, but you're just gonna be marring your Virtus. Now with the Virtus on the Spear LT, you can definitely put the handguard on there. I don't know why you would, but you can. Now again, guys, that's not a really big important factor for me. It's as far as what my applications are. I have two different systems. I have two different barrels for two different reasons. Now the 300 Blackout Virtus is my preferred bedside gun, home defense gun. So that's usually what I would have by my bedside, or my TP9. Now, I definitely do love the Spear. It's just throwing on suppressor, that barrel length, as great as a home defense gun I think it is, the Virtus outweighs it just by that little bit. It's just a barrel. It's not the actual platform. It's just a 300 Blackout caliber and that barrel length that makes it more suitable, in my opinion, for a home defense gun. Now, again, a lot of the stuff that are interchangeable from the Virtus to the Spear is trigger. You can take this Virtus trigger into the Spear, but you can't go vice versa. Now, like I did say, I did swap out the Lantac ECT1 trigger into my Spear. And I'm going to show you quick little split times with this, and I'm going to say it's phenomenal. Like I said, I do prefer the ECT1 triggers over the standard stock trigger that comes with it, but the stock trigger is still good enough. Don't think that just because you have a stock trigger you can't perform. If you're blaming the trigger, it's definitely going to be you. I'm only running flash hider, and I'm also running it on the minus gas setting. So again, standard is 1.5 seconds. Let's see what we can do. So if you guys can see, that was a 133. All right, guys, so moving on to the pros for the Spear LT. Definitely one of my biggest pros is the side foldings, brace, the stock, whatever you have. If you have an SBR, definitely it's one of the things that I prefer on this system. Like I said, I don't prefer the brace that's on it right now. I just like the ability to collapse it, have a little bit more compact if I needed to. Another thing that I do love, again, on these is the suppressor setting. While it's not the best, I don't think it's the most fine-tuned setting. You can definitely get better systems with DIs where it's more adjustable. Definitely you guys can do that. And with running the Dead Air Sandman S on it, it's great. Now, if you guys already have a good DI system, a Mark 18, DD 11.5, something 11.5, and it's already a great perimeter system, Geisley, whatever, Radiant Arms, PWS, stuff like that, you guys are already set. Don't feel like you guys are undergunned because you don't have a Spear LT. I bought the Spear LT because I already had the Virtus. I love the Virtus, and I just wanted something to add on to my 300 Blackout. I do have an extra 11.5 inch barrel for my Virtus, but that'll be a whole separate video dedicated just to the Virtus. But another pros for the 6 spear is that barrel swappability, interchangeability. Super easy. It's a couple screws, torque them down to spec, you're done. Changing out handguards, if you need to swap out a handguard to a longer length to accommodate a suppressor, whatever the case is, that's super easy. Literally 2 screws, a pin, pop it out, change it, you're done. So I definitely do feel that's something that the Virtus and the Spear do better than a lot of the other platforms. I'm not saying the other platforms are hard to swap out, but it's just a little bit more time consuming. This can be done out in the field if you had to. Now, as far as laser systems go, I don't have a laser yet. I've ordered a set of night vision goggles to start working NVGs. So once I have a system set up where I can either buy a Maul, a Steiner, whatever the case is, whatever I decide to buy, I'll give you guys an update on the Zero performance with the Spear LT. The Virtus, again, I don't have it, so can't really talk on that point right now. But once I get the stuff, I'll give you guys an updated video. Even if it's just a short little update, a short YouTube, whatever the case is, I'll give you guys an update. So guys, in closing, this gun is phenomenal. It's great. Sure, there's certain things that I definitely don't like about it. Like I said in my first video, mainly the charging handle, that thing is trash. But the cons don't outweigh the pros. The pros are highly in its favor. It's definitely something you guys should keep an eye out on. If you get a chance to shoot it, shoot it. If you can't afford it, don't feel that whatever you have is outclassed. If you're not outclassed, it still shoots the same caliber 5.56 223, so you're not at a disadvantage. The only disadvantage you might have is that you might have a little bit more gas into the face, and you might have a little bit more gas and carbon and just a bunch of crap coming back into your receiver, but that's about it. I definitely wouldn't say that you are underclassed or anything of that nature. So please keep in mind that what matters the most is you training, you becoming proficient, and I'll see you guys out at the range.